The much anticipated grand opening date of Universal Epic Universe has finally been released. On May 22nd, 2025, Epic Universe will be opening its gates to the public for the first time. There will likely be softer openings before May 22nd, but nothing additional has been released as of this point. With this big news, we also got confirmation from Universal that Terra Luna Resort is delayed opening until March 25th, about a month after the initial planned opening. In this week's Epic Universe construction update, there are a number of new changes to go over. A lot of these changes involve scaffolding being removed from their longtime homes. The scaffolding has been removed from the comet theming at Stardust Racers, around the tower at Frankenstein's Manor, and at the entry portal at Dark Universe, and scaffolding around the replica arch at the front of the new Wizarding World of Harry Potter is starting to come down. All of this and more on this week's Universal Epic Universe construction update, with our aerial views provided to us as always by BioReconstruct. Tickets have now gone on sale in multi-park bundles as well as single-day tickets for annual pass holders only. Single-day admission for Epic Universe for the general public has still not been released. Single-day tickets will start around $120 for Epic Universe, with the average around $135 per ticket. I do not expect these prices to change when the general public single-day tickets go on sale. The perk for pass holders was to be given the opportunity to buy single-day tickets. Universal has still not released any information on when the general public single tickets will go on sale, as they are trying to keep the crowds manageable when the park first opens. Before anyone makes it inside of Epic Universe, guests will have to travel through the parking lot and the entrance area to the park. Near this area, the bus shelters are making progress, with all of the shelters having some sort of roofing completed. Other shelters are farther ahead than others like last time, but they are all still making good progress. Past the security plazas, inside of the entry courtyard of the Kronos Tower, there are several small gardens which have seen a lot of landscaping taking place since last update. This is bringing a lot of green into this area compared to the dirt brown we have been used to seeing for the last several years. On top of the entrance support buildings, the glass domes are making progress, as the first dome is having detail work completed before the last sections of glass are installed. The second dome on the same side of the first can be seen having green framing installed in preparation for glass to be installed. Several pieces can be seen on the roof nearby, waiting to be installed. Along the roofline near those domes, there is brickwork being installed that is identical to the brickwork found throughout Celestial Park. Near the back of Epic Universe sits the new Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic, where once again there are several new details that have been revealed since last update. First and foremost, above the portal plate, a new hourglass element has been installed inside of the secondary ring. There is a similar element on top of the Kronos Tower, which each land will have something like this on the Kronos Tower and above their portal plates. Behind the entry portal to the land sits the large replica archway that will serve as the entrance to the streets of Paris. The scaffolding that has surrounded the arch has started to be torn down as it follows the painting and weathering, making their way from the top of the arch to the ground. Throughout the 5 streets, several additional store awning frames have been installed, and soon we will start to see the fabric awnings installed covering the street level windows from above. These awnings will block the view of seeing new window displays that are appearing each flight. This flight, we can see a new drum set in the window of the music shop. Above the entrance to the theater show, new gold lettering has been installed, identical to the lettering for the cafe across the street. Below on the street, new supports are being added onto the tent frame for the themed outer fabric layer of the tent. Near the entrance to the tent to the theater show is the narrow street that acts as a forced perspective view as a hill and pairs with the turrets in the background. This flight, we have our best close-up view of this street that we have had in a while. Another set of stairs that have made an appearance in the land is a small set that has been built into the old construction vehicle entrance of the land. It is very hard to see, but looking in the shadows we can see the outlines of the stairs. Hopefully on the next flight, Bio can get a look at what these stairs may look like. Behind the land near the back of house access to the show building of the theater show, there appears to be several pieces of bench seating ready to be taken into the theater. From the land of wizards to the land of dragons, there are a lot of small details to go over in How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Burk. Inside of the main lagoon, at the dock where the two ships are located, theming looks to be completed with several barrels and crates of food and other products that are being loaded onto the ships. Above the ships, on one of the bridges that spans the lagoon, new torches have been installed along the railings of the bridge. The guest walkways between the lagoon and the untrainable dragon theater show look to be completed, with the dirt islands in the pathways for future gardens to be planted. On the roof of Spitfire Grill, grass theming has started to be installed above where guests order. In the outdoor seating area for Spitfire Grill, the initial concrete has been poured. Next to the seating area is the overlook to Fire Drill, which looks to have been poured as well, and seem to have water cannon plumbing as well along the fence. Working towards the back of the land, scaffolding has been erected around the character meet and greet area where guests will be able to meet characters like Hiccup and Toothless. Scaffolding has also been installed around the entrance to the Untrainable Dragon Theater Show. Branching from the scaffolding, we can now see new tent framing has been installed for additional tent covering. Inside of the village in front of Mead Hall, a new fountain can be seen in development near the center of the village. Several buildings inside of the village are currently surrounded in scaffolding for final painting and theming, which includes the entrance to Mead Hall. On the edge of the lagoon in the village, we can see what looks like a new dragon theming element being lifted into place on a pedestal. The queue for Hiccup's winged gliders has seen the most changes in the land, with the addition of the entire tent top over the queue. This, along with several other smaller canopies, will give guests a fair amount of shade on those hot Florida days. Along the queue path, we can see new lighting has been installed inside of the queue. This lighting can also be seen in other areas of the land, which includes near Grog and Gruel. Surrounding the two spinning flat rides of Dragon Racers Rally is a maze of tent framing for queue covering. This tent framing will add to the thrill of the ride as the arms swing up and come back down towards the ground. Ride testing is taking place during this flight to ensure proper clearance of the framing. Framing has now completely enclosed the ride closest to Viking Training Camp, with the other not far behind. Next door, at the kids' play area of Viking Training Camp, themed planked walkways are being installed on the upper levels of the playground. We can see several areas where these planks are now being installed as work continues on the framing above. New dragon head theming elements have been installed at the highest points of the playground. Across Celestial Park, at the most colorful land in Epic Universe, Super Nintendo World, some interesting work is going on just outside of the land around the entry portal. Inside of the tiered gardens on either side of the entry portal, several trees have been pruned as rectangles now. Above the portal itself, the yellow and red warp pipes have been removed, interestingly enough. Once guests enter the warp pipe entry portal to the land, they enter through Peach's castle, which has now been covered in scaffolding. Between Peach's castle and Bowser's fortress, the walkways are being painted green and gold, which are identical to how the pathways are painted to the right of Peach's castle as guests enter the land. In this same area, new themed light poles have been installed in several locations. At Bowser's Fortress, Bowser's face has had all the first pieces of face installed and is now awaiting paint and detail work. Scaffolding is starting to surround his face for this process to begin. Just below Bowser's Fortress, the framing for the mushroom top of Toadstool Cafe has been installed, which means we will soon see the mushroom top we have been waiting for. In the courtyard in the lower level of the Mushroom Kingdom, a Yoshi egg has been stained on the concrete just in front of the entrance to Yoshi's Adventure. Along the ride path of Yoshi's Adventure, the warp pipe closest to Mount Beanpole has been completely painted, while the other warp pipe still needs to be painted. Next to this last warp pipe, there is a crack in the wall with something inside. Looking closer, it is another egg that looks like it belongs to Yoshi. On the dividing wall that separates the Mushroom Kingdom and Donkey Kong Country, artists can be seen painting palm trees on the green wall to help break up the green. Below, color is also being added to the trim of the plane at Funky's Flying By gift shop. Across the walkway, at Donkey Kong's treehouse, more roofing is being installed, along with the walls of the Bubbly Barrel snack stand are nearing completion, and some detail roofline work is beginning. Behind these two structures is the splash pond for Minecart Madness, which has been filled with clear water for the first time. Inside of the queue entrance for Minecart Madness, we can see a new character head has been installed, which has light up eyes, which gives sort of a creepy vibe. Speaking of creepy vibes, next door to Super Nintendo World is the creepiest land in all of Epic Universe, Dark Universe. At the entry portal to the land, scaffolding is being removed as the tree roots have been sculpted and themed around the portal plate as we speculated. Inside the village of Darkmoor, nighttime lighting can be seen being tested during this flight in several different areas. The well in the center of the village looks to have its theming completed as well. At Das Steakhouse, a menu board has been installed just outside of the entrance, similar to the one installed near Burning Blades Tavern. There is also a large iron gate that has either been just installed or closed for the first time near the large open-air seating area at this dining location. Inside of the Dark Forest at Curse of the Werewolf, the tent theming is continuing at the other two tents opposite to the first tent that we saw during our Hurricane Milton update. That section of tenting has been repaired and has had an additional section installed. There is also colored fabric fringe on two of the tents around the coaster. Across the forest, at Frankenstein's Manor, the scaffolding that has covered the main spire for the last several updates has been fully removed, revealing the beauty it has been hiding. The lightning damage on top of the tower spans two sides of the roof, and for being a dark theme, there are sure a lot of different shades of color around the tower. At the base of the manor, a lot of the protective coverings for the details are being removed, which includes the walkways. To the right of the manor, hidden in the forest of trees, is the exit to the ride, which brings guests back into the manor courtyard. We can see light poles inside of the exit pathway, as well as several light poles have been installed around the courtyard manor. Near where the exit meets the pathway again, a back-of-house gate is receiving its gate framing before being themed. Overlooking Dark Universe sits the on-site resort of Helios Grand Hotel. Out back in the resort's pool area, water has filled the pool for the first time on purpose. This, however, is not the final product, since there is still sediment in the deep end of the pool, and other finishing touches need to take place. Behind the pool bar, there is work being done on the dividing wall and the fence that separates the pool area with the back-of-house areas of Dark Universe. Nearby, the pool cabanas are making progress as well, with new framing along the roof. Around the entrance to the hotel, a lot of landscaping has been planted in the islands around the driveway of the resort. On the roof above, the bronze roof tiles continue to make their way up the main dome as they near the peak of the dome. Back on the ground, on the Epic Universe side of the hotel, new themed pillars near the Epic Universe overlook have been installed. These pillars are similar to the ones found at Luna Overlook on the other side of Celestial Park. A little farther down the waterfall feature, at the statue of Helios, a new oversized ring is being installed just behind the statue as another element of the art. Near Helios, themed railings have been installed at one of the two bridges that span the waterfall that feeds the main show fountain. Behind Meteor Astropub, blue concrete is being poured around the garden area. Next update, we will see how this area will turn out with colorful concrete. Just a little farther down the walkway is the dueling launch coaster of Stardust Racers, where scaffolding around the comet theming has been removed. There are several areas of drain pipe that are exposed with the removal of the scaffolding, but by next update, workers should have this area graded. Near the front of the coaster tracks, where the trains cross paths, the guest walkways are making good development as the pathways make their way towards the coaster entrance. Behind the coaster building, in the extended queue area, canopy framing has been installed above the service road crossover. There is also additional frames staged on the ground nearby as the coverings for the round areas of the queue prepare to be covered. The second attraction inside of Celestial Park is the splash pad of Astronomica, which has had its painting completed. Work is currently taking place on the water nozzles as all of the covers are open during this flight. There is also work taking place around the railings that overlook the central water feature. Overlooking this central water feature as well is the last attraction of Celestial Park, Constellation Carousel. Near the entrance to this ride, we can see several smaller pieces of colorful dome on the ground being prepared to be lifted into place on the dome. There are only a few sections of dome that remain uninstalled. Looking closely, the constellations that guests will ride on are being installed on the ride platforms. These will be very hard to get pictures of from the air due to being under the cover of the dome. Above the entrance to Atlantic, the roofline details continue to make their way around the building and into the scaffolding where it is hard to see. Atlantic overlooks the cascading waterfalls that meet guests as they enter the park, which also has an island where guests can access via two bridges. Around these bridges, a lot of the walkways have been poured since last update, as well as the curbing. At the Phase 2 dining location that will open sometime after May 22nd, the glass roof has been installed above the main entrance. Near the back of the building, the walls continue to be installed as the structure begins to be weatherproofed. As guests walk through the Kronos Tower, they enter Luna Overlook, which has its own large colorful courtyard. Last update, we saw the beginnings of this courtyard starting with the outside of the concrete forms. This week, we have the entire perimeter of the form along with the makings of a large arrow which looks like will point towards the center of Celestial Park, which is the home to Constellation Carousel. Along with this courtyard, there is some concrete that has been poured coming out of the base of the Kronos Tower. Just to the left, we can see prep work taking place on the next pathway pour. Just south of Epic Universe sits the off-site resorts of Stella Nova, which opens in January 2025, and Terra Luna, which was supposed to open the following month in February 2025, but has since been delayed until March 25th, 2025. This announcement does not come as a surprise when you compare the outside visual progress of the sister resorts. Stella Nova is miles ahead of Terra Luna in every respect currently, and looks well more than 4 weeks ahead. At Stella Nova, the pool and hot tub have been filled with water for the first time, and there looks to be a pool cleaner inside of the pool. On the lower roof above the pool area, there are some colored shapes being painted in different areas. Overall though, the pool area landscaping looks 100% completed and ready to greet guests once there are some pool chairs. That wraps up this week's Universal Epic Universe Construction Update. If you enjoyed this update, please leave a like and comment if you were able to secure your Epic Universe tickets. Unfortunately, due to some life events, I'm unsure when I will be able to visit this unique park. A big thanks to BioReconstruct as always for the aerial views of Epic Universe. Be sure to check out my new adventure merch below, and don't forget to subscribe so you do not miss the next Universal Epic Universe Construction Update. And until next time, travelers, have a great one.